Hey everybody, this is Mark Bozon, and I'm here to give you guys the video review for Castlevania Order of Ecclesia for Nintendo DS. Order of Ecclesia is the third and what we'd assume to be the final Castlevania on DS, and with that comes some pretty huge shoes to fill. We've seen 2 other Castlevania DS games already, 3 on GBA, and of course it all goes back to Symphony of the Night, which many consider to be up there with Super Metroid as some of the best 2D platforming and adventuring there is. Interestingly enough though, Konami, instead of just going in and polishing and refining, actually added in about 50% of new animations and characters into the game, and changed the entire level structure of the first half. It's more mission-based this time instead of just one big adventure. Newcomers to the series might not even notice this stuff, but for veterans, there are some things you're going to like and some things you may not like quite as much about Order of Ecclesia. For starters, let's get this out of the way. The game is beautiful. It's well composed, it's got amazing presentation value, and dozens and dozens of hours replay time buried in there. When you put it up against all the other games on the system, this is a downright amazing DS game and a must-own for anyone that's remotely interested in adventures, 2D side-scrollers, or the Castlevania series. With that being said though, there are some kind of odd aspects and kind of pacing issues that you find with this game overall. For starters, you got the glyph system. It's basically a hybrid between like skills and weapons and souls from the previous games, all kind of melded into one. And while there's some great magic-based abilities in there, many of the glyphs are kind of clones of each other, so you end up seeing a lot of the same things. You can check it out here. I've actually got a regular axe, and I'm going to switch over and throw a level 2 axe, and I'm switching again for the final level 3 axe. They actually get stronger, but you take that idea across regular swords and lances and throwing knives, things like that, you end up taking out about the first quarter of total glyphs that are in the game. Granted, there's some pretty amazing ones in there as well, though, so check it out. Each of these also have a glyph fusion attack, so you can take any of these and pair them together. You've got huge axe swings, you've got blizzard spells, here's a devastating, just gigantic golem hand crushing attack. So while the initial impressions that the game might be limited, it's really a matter of just sticking with it until you get to the real meat and potatoes of the game, which, oddly enough, are actually in the back half of the adventure instead of the first half. Here's another example of that same kind of like pacing issue within the game. As I scroll through these maps, you can check out, each of them are really small. There's a lot of them, but they're only about like 15 rooms, give or take, in specific maps. Now when you jump into them, they look really nice. They're really impressive. You've got underwater caverns, this haunted prison going on here, an ocean battle where you're actually like out in the high seas and you can see this ship completely out of control in the background. And a lot of these like kind of decaying forests and things like that are more organic, things that you don't normally see because you're stuck inside the castle. Since each of these areas also take up more tile space in the game though, they're really short, and a lot of them are just as small as what you see here, running from one side to the other, and you're practically done with the area. And on top of that, the fact that many of these areas are actually duplicate tile sets of each other, so you've got a lot less variation in the first half than even you'd expect from looking at it. It's more like Portrait of Ruin in that sense. There are a lot of kind of duplicate paintings areas. So in the Temeo Mountains here, you can see it's repeated just hours down the line by this area we're going to switch to, the Tridus Pass. Head back to the water levels that we were talking about earlier, and you've got the Claudius Channel, and that's actually directly cloned by the Somnus Reef right here. So yeah, that's 4 maps, but really they're using 2 tile sets and just changing a lot of the colors. I have to say though, with those being the 2 main flaws within the game, the whole pacing issue, it really comes down to the fact that these are just dwarfed in comparison by the eventual guts of the game that you get into. You've got larger areas, you've got some extremely brutal enemies. You can see I'm just getting my butt kicked in this area. It's near the end, we're going to use a small amount of those glyphs. But the whole, quest system that even brings together the beginning of the game when you're going around the village and kind of collecting every villager again, that stuff's all really good. And in the end, you do have kind of a slow start, and it's a little strange at first, but it more than pays off by the time you're done. And there's a lot to see in this game. You, of course, cap that all off with the extra playthroughs the players have come to expect. You've got online versus mode, item trading, racing, a few other goodies that you can see in there. And, it's definitely a game that's going to take you dozens of hours to play if you really get hooked. And you'd be hard-pressed to find a game that's much better than Order of Ecclesia on the Nintendo DS. It has its issues, there are some weird things about it, but overall, we gave it a 9.0. It's an incredible game, Editor's Choice Award, one of the highest ratings I've given on this site, and definitely worth a look. So head on over to IGN.com, check out the full written review, and then go pick this one up and enjoy it.